And we're coming to you live from the Built Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network and wherever you are on the free Odyssey app. Good Monday morning. Hope you had a wonderful summer weekend after all the flooding and the craziness we saw on Thursday into Friday. It was awfully beautiful the last couple of days, but not, of course, for these baseball teams, especially for the New York Yankees, who get swept by the first time in their history by the Marlins. And it has gotten to a point now where the voices, the screaming, the pressure is getting to a breaking point. Now, they've got 50 games to go. They've still got one of the wild card spots, but this is a team who was 17 games over 500 in early June and has played 9 games under 500 since then. And they continue to slip in the standings. Now they're behind the Red Sox as well. And this right now, this moment this morning is the most pressure and the loudest it's ever been around Aaron Boone. They're not going to do anything during the season. Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone have a great relationship. I think where the season ends up will determine his future, of course. But anybody who's thinking that Aaron Boone's going to get fired this morning or this week, that will not happen. He's going to get an opportunity to turn this thing around. It's got to start now. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jim. Doing well. And I got to tell you, Friday night was unbelievable. I mean, I think this has got to be some sort of Major League Baseball record.
Yeah.
You trade for 3 new top-end relievers, and in 3 innings, they give up 9 runs. That has to be like an all-time meltdown. And You know what? Do you remember, I think it was probably 6 or 7 weeks ago, Fleegs would probably know better than we would, when the Mets went into Pittsburgh and they got basically shellacked.
Oh, yeah, and you came on the air and you were screaming and yelling, unacceptable, and then all the Mets fans were turning on you saying, Boomer, what happened? You're usually the positive guy, and you just barfed all over them.
Well, that's how I feel if I were a Yankee fan this morning after this disastrous weekend. And I think, there were a lot of bad things to point at, a lot of bad things. But maybe the most disingenuous and maybe the most inaccurate statement had to be from A-Rod. If I were playing, I'd be held accountable.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that
My
was almost,
ass.
I almost laughed at that.
Yeah.
It was so funny because I'm like, I think he forgets just how entitled he was when he played here and when he played in the league and how they treated players back then. I would even say that I could go back to 2023. I think it was 2023. When A.J. Hinch benched Javi Baez for not realizing that there were less than 2 outs in a game. And he took him down to the dugout and said, "You're out. I can't stand this. I can't handle this." So the point being is that going back to being held accountable, and I know that Aaron Boone has to do it a certain way. 162 games is a ton of games. It's a lot of time you're spending with each other, and there's a lot of give and take between the manager and the players. But there are certain things that you can't put up with, and you have to make examples out of people. I don't care who those people are. Now, if somebody drops a fly ball, that's a physical mistake. That's one thing. Everybody can do that. Somebody makes a throwing error, that's one thing. Everybody can do that. But when it comes down to base running or knowing how many outs there are or knowing where to throw the ball, like, as we tell kids in Little League, before the ball is hit to you, you say to yourself, if it is hit to me, where am I going with it initially? Because you want to have some sort of, anticipation of what you're going to do. I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think it will all come down to how these Yankees finish the season. Now, they got, like we talked about, they got 50 games left. Out of those 50 games, 28 are against teams with losing records. And their last 13 games are versus the Baltimore Orioles, who can be a pain in the ass to them, and the Chicago White Sox.
Yep.
I mean, so if you want to look silver lining, that would be the silver lining. That
And Aaron Judge is supposed to come back Tuesday.
Right, so that would be the silver lining that I would tell you. They got the Twins in there. They got the White Sox in there twice. They got the Orioles in there twice. I mean, these last 50 games set up for the Yankees to finish strong. That's what I would say. But this morning, that doesn't mean anything because of this debacle and embarrassment that just took place down in Miami. I mean, it almost looked to me like the players must have gone out Saturday night. They were out Friday night, Saturday night after the games, hanging out. Miami's got all the trappings of everything you want, and it just felt that way. It felt like after that loss on Friday night, which was just startling, to say the least, I just feel like it's not that they mailed it in, they just didn't feel like they competed. And when you strike out a lot, you swing at bad pitches, you make mistakes on the base pass, and somebody can sit here and try to explain to me over and over and over again what the hell Jazz Chisholm was doing. And I know exactly about, this is what you got to do when you're on first base and there's a pop-up, and if you think the second baseman's going to purposely drop the ball and everything else, there's no way if this ball is dropped, there is no way in the world that Jazz Chisholm's going to be standing on second base.
Right.
No way.
Of course.
No way.
Yeah, I mean,
this was just absolutely, completely, like, I don't want to say lazy. I don't want to say, the word I want to use is just like
clueless.
Yeah, I guess like what are you doing?
And this is the biggest frustration for a Yankee fan, is the fact that it feels like this type of stuff hasn't ended since Game 5 of the World Series against the Dodgers.
And that goes back to the manager.
The manager,
right. Can yell at the first base coach all he wants.
Yeah.
That's BS.
He also brought Chisholm back into the clubhouse.
Well, that's good. That's good that he did that.
Right, and that's the accountability stuff that the Yankee fan wants to hear all the time. But I really think that and this is why I said that the Aaron Boone stuff is louder than it's ever been, is every baseball fan, even though I don't totally agree with it, because I said back in Game 5 against the Dodgers that, Garrett Cole and Anthony Rizzo have been playing baseball since they were 5 years old or younger. They know what to do in that situation. They didn't do it. That's not Aaron Judge. That's not Aaron Boone's fault. Aaron Judge drops that ball in center field. He never drops. Aaron Boone can't tell him to make a routine play, and then he's going to do it. And if he doesn't tell him to make a routine play, he's going to drop it. That's not on Aaron Boone. However, the perception of when these guys continually to play sloppy baseball throughout 2/3 of a baseball season, and the manager never seems to criticize them.
Like he did here.
Right, but finally, after how many months of the fans asking for this, but he never says anything in these post-game news conferences, because that's what the fan hears. We don't see what he's saying to the players in the office.
He just defends
his guys. So that's why the Yankee fan is so pissed off. It's like, this stuff, you're as sloppy as any team in a league. You've been slipping and sliding since June, and we have a manager here that doesn't seem to care about it. So that's what the perception is.
Time out.
That's what the perception is.
All right, but that perception is wrong. The manager does care about it. I'm sorry. I mean, you can call in to the cows come home talking about firing him today. They're not firing him. He got a contract extension. They have 50 games left. There's a lot of baseball to be played. I just laid it out for you in terms of their schedule. They may scuffle a little bit more. And by the way, this was a team that was supposed to have Garrett Cole as their number one starter.
Yeah.
And, and he's out. And again, that's the reality of the league. There are a lot of teams that are dealing with injured players. And right now, their two best and highest paid players are out. They're not playing. And, quite frankly, after Friday night was just, that was just a gut punch. And that could be the game that ultimately decides the future of Aaron Boone, because that loss was inexcusable. Now, what does inexcusable mean? What does it really mean? It means that somebody's got to lose their job if things don't straighten out and if things don't start, going the right way, and the way that the Yankee fan who has paid $1 gazillion to go and see this game start playing. You got to understand, there is a financial aspect to this in a huge way. And I'm sure the brain trust over at the Yankees, they hear it, they listen to the station, they know how Yankee fans feel, and I'm sure Yankee fans are really disgusted. I'm sure they're sending emails and everything over to the Yankee brass. You know that. That's the way it works. But my thing is that the amount of mental errors that's where managers lose their jobs. And, the other thing, too, I will say, when you ask a player about their manager, in this case, Aaron Boone, they all like him, and they probably like him because of the way he is publicly. They probably also understand that there's going to be very difficult conversations privately, and he's never going to bring those things public. No matter how much you, me, or the fans want it, he's just not going to do that. He's going to do what he normally does, and that is deflect, support, and try to get through a 162-game season without somebody, wrapping a bat around his neck.
Yeah, I saw Sean Morash, the quote tweet, another Yankee fan that said, Aaron Boone gets angrier at the questions that reporters ask him than players who make mistakes in the field.
True. That's not true.
But this, what I'm saying is, this is what the Yankee fan believes, right? And this is why it's so loud. Now, will Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman and everybody else react to that? No, I don't believe so, because more so than any other organization here in New York, they don't listen to the noise.
Stable.
Right. Like they continue now with right or wrong. You know, whether it was Gleyber Torres for an extra year when they shouldn't have kept him here, whether it was Gary Sanchez for an extra year when they couldn't keep him. You know, all of those things.
But
that's patience. But like the patience is run out for the fan base when it comes to the manager. It's just that I'm telling you, the fact that Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman, if you think that they have the same perception of the manager as the fan base has, I think it's like black and white.
You know, the thing about it is, you and I have sat here for 8 years together, and we've seen this time and again. You know, that we always reach this point somewhere along the line with any one of these teams. It could have been the Jets with Rob Saleh. It could be the Giants with Joe Judge. It could have been the Mets with Mickey Callaway. I mean, we know the Knicks with David Fizdale. We know just by the amount of negativity surrounding the manager or the head coach, we understand where that head coach lies. I think because of the amount of money that this team has spent and the way that, you know, they thought going into the season that they had fixed a lot of their problems, especially with the loss of Juan Soto, by adding Max Fried and, of course, their closer, Devin Williams, and Bellinger and Goldschmidt. They thought that, okay, these four guys can make up for that. And there was a point where I think we all thought, okay, Brian Cashman hit a home run. The other thing, too, is that they traded for 7 new players.
Yep.
7 new players.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't sit here and tell me that your GM is not trying to get it right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're. I don't think anybody's saying that. I think most Yankee fans are really satisfied with the trade deadline stuff. I mean, I think it's just the sloppy play and the fact that they've been bad since June 12th, essentially, is sort of that date that everybody goes back to. How they played 9 games under 500 since then, because that was their high watermark of 17 games over. And I did find it interesting, though, because yesterday they honored Jack McKeon down there at Miami. So, you know, he's former Marlins manager. And Jack McKeon took over the Marlins mid-season in that first stint in 2003 when they were 5 games under 500. And then he led them to 26 games over after that. And they went to the World Series and beat the New York Yankees. So it's just sort of interesting how it's like you have all the Yankee fans are screaming about firing Aaron Boone. You got the Marlins sweeping the Yankees for the first time ever, and then you have Jack McKeon, the manager of one of the most disappointing World Series losses that the Yankees had. You know, it's not up there with the Diamondbacks won in 2001, but it's still up there because they were expected to win that World Series. You got him talking there. It felt like Twilight Zone type of stuff.
It's really amazing where the payroll discrepancy just shows up.
Yeah.
And in this case, it is so vast. You're talking about a bottom 5 team and a top 2 team. And, you know, the players have got to accept total responsibility for this. You know, Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, Anthony Volpe. You'd like to think that all of these guys are 100% professionals, and they know it. Anthony Volpe grew up a Yankee fan. He knows what's going on. He hears it. And only they can do something about it. Nobody else can. You know, we could sit here and just scream and yell for the next 50 games. And the next 50 games will determine as to whether or not we're all back on the bandwagon come October.
Yeah, and Aaron Boone, I believe, I'd be absolutely shocked if anything else happened. But Aaron Boone's going to get that opportunity the rest of the year, and you know, he still may be the manager at the end of this year or going into next year, too. They seem to have a really, really strong bond, Cashman and Boone, and we'll see how bad this thing's get. Now, if they end up not making the playoffs, that's a different conversation. We don't normally take calls in the first segment. Let's take a couple here of some angry Yankee fans. Why not? Tom and Coram, what's going on, Tom?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, man.
I just want to start out that I listen to you guys every morning. You guys are the best.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you, Tom. So what's happening?
I'm agreeing with everything that you guys are saying, okay? I am a angry, disgruntled Yankee fan right now. Aaron Boone needs to go. I think he's living off his Red Sox home run too long now. I mean, you got Anthony Volpe struggling, and he's not taking him out of the game. You picked up two players at the deadline. Put the one guy in there, whether it be Rosario or the other guy. But I'm watching these guys play, and to me it looks like they don't want to play for Aaron Boone. Thank you very much for the time, guys.
Yeah, Tom, I don't see. I think they love Aaron Boone. You know, if you want to make the case of what the negative thing would be is that they feel too comfortable with Aaron Boone.
You know what? The other thing, too, is this team went to the World Series last year. I mean, are we forgetting that? I mean, how many times did they
that's
won?
part of the frustration here.
I understand, but
they should be better.
Yeah, right now they should be better. They should not be swept by the Marlins.
Right, yeah.
Just like the Mets should have never been swept by Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Right.
And that's why I came in angry that Monday morning. And that's why Yankee fans like Tom, and I'm sure Tony here, is angry because of what just happened, what took place, and especially what took place after Friday night. Friday night, okay, maybe those guys are flying overnight. I don't know. We could throw out a million different excuses. But the way that they played the next two games, there is no excuse for that. There really is none. And then, I don't know about you, but I'm sitting there, I'm watching like the 8th and 9th batters of the Miami Marlins. I can't get them out. I'm like, who are these guys? And maybe they do have a young team. It's interesting listening to Paul O'Neill going, well, this team's going to be really good. Well, Paul, your team spent like $390 million in your rent. What about your team?
Yeah, I know. I mean, let's not ass-kiss the Marlins in this sweep.
Well, that's exactly what happened. And it shouldn't have been ass-kissed. I mean, the guy that got it right was Michael Kay. And I will say this, at least A-Rod actually said something.
Yeah, for once. But that statement that he made was also going after Aaron Boone. I mean, that's what he was doing.
I felt like
because that's the thing to do now.
I don't know what Derek Jeter was trying to say. I mean, he was just trying to tiptoe around things. But A-Rod actually said something, and the word accountability came out of his mouth. I was like,
yeah, I know, saying that he would have been held accountable.
Yeah, okay.
Tony in West Haven, Connecticut. What's going on, Tony?
Hey, Boomer and Gio. Oh, yeah.
What up, Tony?
What's happening, Tony?
Listen, I'm so frustrated with Aaron Boone. Hey, listen, in that management report he did after the game Saturday when he made that comment that he doesn't believe the Yankees have committed any more errors than any other team in baseball, I just had to laugh. It's like every game they're making stupid errors. Can't throw the ball to first base. You're missing pop flies. You're standing there watching a pop fly and you get thrown out of first base. I mean, it's just like it's not traditional for Yankees to be making these kind of errors.
How about not knowing how many outs there are and getting thrown out of second base?
Yeah, it's like they don't even. Yeah. It's like they're not. It's like I've never seen a Yankee team like this before, ever. I've never seen Yankees play this bad before.
Well, I mean, the good news is that there are 50 games left. You're either going to see more of that or you're going to see a major change, and you're going to see them run roughshod over some other teams that aren't very good, which, like I told you, 28 out of their 50 games left are against teams sub 500.
Yeah, just like the team that swept them this past weekend.
They're actually over 500.
Well, okay, but I mean, they're not a good baseball team. You know what
I did yesterday? I went to Grok.
Oh, did you?
I went to Grok, and I asked Grok a question.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
where are my car keys?
Grok, how many mental errors have the Yankees made? How many mental errors have the Yankee players made? I had to be specific.
Yeah.
During the 2025 Major League Baseball season.
It actually spit out an answer for you?
It did.
Wow.
And the answer was, we really can't answer this because there are no statistics. Major League Baseball, ESPN, and some other website don't track mental errors. They only track physical errors.
So it didn't give you an answer?
Well, it gave me an answer, but it wasn't a definitive answer as to how many.
It wasn't an answer to your question. It was an answer.
Yeah, but it wasn't a definitive answer.
Yeah, so you didn't get an answer. That's what you're telling me.
No, but I got an answer, but it just wasn't definitive.
You got a response, not an answer.
But the fact that
there you go.
That I asked Grok that question, I'm like, what am I doing? Literally, what am I doing?
Well, you turn it into Al because Al uses Grok as his therapist and his travel agent.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. He asked Grok where to vacation, and Grok told him Bozeman, Montana. He asked Grok, where am I going to retire? He asked Grok, how do I handle certain social situations? That's what he does.
He doesn't handle social situations.
Well, he's trying to get better at it, apparently. All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. Just getting started on this Monday morning. Get Jerry Recco in here. Play the lowlights from yesterday's baseball.